यहाँ मोहनिया गांव है, 250 की आबादी है। बिजली जो है सो यहाँ मुश्किल से 2 से 3 घंटे रहते हैं। कभी कभी 20-20 दिन बिजली नहीं रहती है।
20-20 दिन?
जी हाँ सर। अच्छा, कौन सा जगह है?
हरियाणा।
ये बिहार में, झारखंड में पलामू डिस्ट्रिक्ट।
जी, पलामू।
तो यहाँ बिजली जो है सो कितने दिन में आती है?
आदमी चौली है करता है, कभी आया कभी गया, कभी आया कभी मैंने कोई ढंग से
24 घंटे में अगर मान के चले तो कितना बिजली रहता है? हट गई मुझसे बाद में
24 घंटे में
मतलब 2-3 दिन में आता है। कभी रहा, कभी चला गया, सप्ताहों भर गायब रहा, गए ना।
तो इसका कनेक्शन कहाँ से ले रखा आपने?
ये जनरेटर है सर।
We have traveled up to Jharkhand border. While traveling, we discussed with many people. One thing which is commonly observed throughout the trip, child population is substantial and many of them are working for their survival and not going to school.
कौन सा स्कूल पे? यहाँ क्या कर रहा है? इससे पैसा कम मिलता है? कितना मिलता है?
50-100 जितना भी मिलता है, हम लोग का खर्चा
खर्चे चला जाता है। माँ बाप सब है? वो लोग,
मम्मी पापा आने नहीं देते, हम लोग आ जाते हैं।
आप लोग आ जाते हैं, वो आने नहीं देते? क्या करते हो आप मम्मी पापा?
पापा रिक्शा चलाता है, मम्मी घर पे रहता है।
रिक्शा चलाता है। तुम स्कूल भी जाते हो? ये
नहीं जाता है।
ये नहीं जाता है।
That's it. India has world's largest child population at 400 million and more than 50% children are malnourished. 50% children between ages 6 to 18 do not go to school, out of which UP and Bihar has bigger numbers.
स्कूल जाते हो आप?
हाँ।
कौन सा क्लास पढ़ रहे हो?
5 क्लास। अब नहीं जाते।
नहीं जाते? क्यों?
मेरा मन नहीं।
मन नहीं करता? अरे मम्मा पापा?
मम्मी पापा भेजते, अब जाते नहीं। मेरे पापा मम्मी 2 बार नाम लिखा है।
हाँ।
2 बार लिखा है, 2 बार हम छोड़ दिए।
छोड़ दिए? अच्छा, मम्मा पापा बोलने पर भी नहीं जाते हो? दोनों का नाम बताओ। नाम।
मेरा बरका सहन, इसका नैना सहन।
तो कौन सा क्लास में पढ़ रहे हो?
5 क्लास।
कौन सा स्कूल?
ओरिएंटल जूनियर हाई स्कूल।
अच्छा, कितना कमाते हो डेली?
हाँ?
हर रोज कितना कमाते हो?
100 रुपए, 150 रुपए, कभी 500, कभी लाख रुपए हम कमा लेते हैं।
लाख रुपए भी कमाते हो?
नहीं भैया, लाख। जैसा कहा वैसा कहा।
अच्छा।
लेकिन आप
नहीं।
हम लोग को बात रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, आप बच्चे हैं ना, स्कूल जाना है ना, ये स्कूल नहीं जा रहा है।
अच्छा।
हैं? क्यों नहीं जा रहा है वो पता करना है बस। पता?
मॉर्निंग टाइम 10 o'clock।
आपका मम्मा पापा क्या करते हैं?
मेरे पापा नाव चलाते हैं, माँ घर पर रहती है।
आपका?
मेरे पापा नाव चलाते हैं, मेरी मम्मी काम पे जाती है। सब
अच्छा।
साफ बात बता रहे हैं। हाँ, मम्मी तो घर ही में रहना है, तो घर ही में रहना है।
नाम बताना।
वंदना।
डेली कितना कमाते हो?
डेली कितना कमा
पैसा कितना कमाते हो? 100 रुपए। मम्मा पापा क्या करते हैं?
घर पर काम करते हैं।
कौन सा काम करते हैं?
यही सब करते हैं।
यही काम करते हो लोग? अच्छा।
क्या पढ़ रहे तुम?
पढ़ाई क्या हो रहा है?
कुछ नहीं पढ़ रहे।
करते हैं छक के छक।
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। उसको बिहार वाला
कौन सा स्कूल है?
वो हो जाएगा, आपको मैं करवा दूंगा।
प्राइमरी स्कूल।
नाम बताना स्कूल का।
स्कूल का नाम
तो तुम नहीं जाते हो ना स्कूल?
नहीं जाते हैं सर, भूल गए।
कैसे भूल गए?
अगली बार आएगा तो बताएंगे।
भाई बहन है क्या?
हाँ, 4 बहन, 2
विश्वनाथ
4 बहन 2 भाई।
While coming back, it was a long drive back to Banaras. We could see people celebrating Dev Deepavali, which is celebrated once in a year in the evening of Kartika Purnami. wherein 1 million lamps glitters across ghats of Ganga. While we were moving in the boat, my mind went back to beginning of my train journey and started recollecting things discussed and witnesses during my journey with Dad. Few are train traveling long distances by bicycles, hardships, power problems, etc. Since I had enough time while moving in the boat, I started conversation one by one. Dad, how people are traveling in general compartments under those conditions? Dad shared his experience of train journey in sleeper coaches most of the times and sometimes in general compartments during his childhood days and also in the beginning of his career. Then, I raised people traveling long distances by bicycle. I have a cycle, but I never use my cycle to go to school, which is hardly 1 kilometer. Instead, I use bus or sometimes car. Again, I have asked my father, Dad, 50 kilometers distance daily cycling, is it really possible? He said, during my younger days, at your age, I used to cycle 20 kilometers up and down to reach my school as there was no public transport to our village in Andhra Pradesh. Seeing lights around, I asked Dad, how come anyone survive under those circumstances even without power? He has replied very smoothly. Do you know, in my childhood, till I grew, almost to your age, we did not have power lines in our village. It has come to my mind. In Gurgaon, where I reside, it will take hardly 5 minutes to resume power supply with a power backup. For that little gap, sometimes I felt difficulty. Oh, living without power, I cannot even imagine how difficult it would be. Further, hardship people undergo to earn 100 rupees a day also flashed across my mind. I was thinking, how can someone lead his life with little money, whereas I pay rupees 200 for 1 hour dance class training?
डेली कितना किलोमीटर अप डाउन करते हैं आना जाने में? कितना?
40 किलोमीटर तो कम से कम 20 आना 20 जाना है।
40 किलोमीटर। कितना साल से ऐसा कर रहे हैं?
साल तो करीब 40 साल।
कितना बता रहे हैं?
40 साल
40 साल। कमाई कितना होगा आपका?
3,500।
For the first time in my life, I have started thinking, how difficult to earn money. I have expressed my doubt to Dad. Dad, how difficult are these people's life? How come anybody survives just with 100 rupees a day? He has replied with a smile. When I have joined in my first job after engineering graduation sometime in 1995, my first salary was 2,000 rupees per month, amounting rupees 66 per day. After that, I was silent for quite some time and I was thinking. All these days, I have never realized, not even applied my mind to these things. More than anything about my father's life. How much he might have struggled to reach this stage. I could not control my emotion. I said, by looking at him, that you have struggled a lot to reach this position. Of course, but more than me, its your grandparents have struggled a lot to see me as an engineer. And your mother has supported me along the way. While expressing, I could see happiness in my dad's eyes. His happiness was more due to the attention I paid to understand his struggle. More so as I did for the first time. I have again asked him, Dad, why the living conditions of the people are so poor here?
तो घर पे कोई नौकरी किसी को नौकरी नहीं है तो सब खेती में
नहीं खेती नहीं, खेती तो यही बस जगह जहाँ आप खड़े हैं।
Is it because of the illiteracy, because of the population, because of the politics, or because of the lack of resources? He said, in fact, all contributed in one way or other, making people to live under the poor conditions, but more than anything, main reason is a lot of energy is being wasted in this country. I don't really understand what is he trying to say. I don't understand. Can you explain me in detail? I have asked him with a blank face. He said, tomorrow we will discuss. We came back to guest house, stayed 9. Next day morning, we went to Dad's office and met his colleagues. Dad discussed and requested them to express their opinion in connection to our discussion going on for the past 24 hours. Project team consists of local such as UP Bihar people, non-local such as South Indians and also expatriates from Turkey. All of them participated in debate. Dad also participated and expressed his opinion and finally they concluded. Explained me like this.
Illiteracy is one of the reasons by, though, the fact that one of the world ancient university Nalanda is located here in Bihar. But unfortunately, now it is not active. One of the largest residential universities in Asia is located in Varanasi. But unfortunately, none of the Indian universities are rated in top 200 in the world. Population is one of the major problem and weakness. For example, combined UP and Bihar population is almost equal to US population. However, population is our one strength as well as it generates huge potential of business and mental energy reserves in the form of young and vibrant human energy. Population can facilitate to cultivate enormous consumer and commercial market. Comparatively, our population is younger to China. The average age of Indian is 25, easily the youngest among the many countries. Example, China and US. But unfortunately, remains a gerontocracy with average age of the cabinet in India being 65 years, oldest comparatively. Lack of natural resources could be the reason for some parts of UP and Bihar, but not for the entire area. The reason being UP and Bihar is gifted and renowned with vast fertile land since dynasties. Ganga Delta is the longest delta in the world. Ganga, Yamuna and Son rivers are flowing through both these states. And as far as politics is concerned, I agree to a larger extent politicians are responsible for the present conditions. But UP is politically active and dominant state even before independence. Leaders like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri are from UP. Presently educated and young leader Mr. Akhilesh is the Chief Minister for UP.
तो आज जरूरत है जब लोग ये कहते हैं कि करप्शन खत्म हो जाए, लोग ये कहते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट अच्छी हो, तो अगर अच्छे लोग राजनीति में नहीं आएंगे, अच्छे लोग की सरकार नहीं बनेगी तो करप्शन कहां से खत्म होगा? इसलिए मैं चाहता हूं कि आप लोग भी राजनीति में आए.
And popular leader Mr. Nitish Kumar is the Chief Minister of Bihar.
बिहार में पहली बार इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया है जिसमें मुख्य मुद्दा है कि कैसे बिहार में बिजली की उपलब्धता को, ऊर्जा की उपलब्धता को बढ़ाया जा सके.
While world's better qualified Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh ruling from the central. UP, Bihar, people are hoping better things in their lives under the rule of present Chief Minister.
Okay Dad, you said energy is being wasted. Can you explain? I have asked again. Dad has requested Mr. Ennis to express and then they explain like this.
Indians are the best performers as an individual but not as a team. Cite an example. While Indians are successful as software engineers, doctors, but are not that successful as construction managers and leaders of the industry, where teamwork is needed to be improved. Energy is being wasted in India in many ways. Children and student energy wasted due to improper education facilities and lack of good infrastructure. Farmers' energy is being wasted by lack of awareness about new farming methods, lack of infrastructure, irrigation projects, uninterrupted power, quality seeds and fertilizers. Youth are wasting their time due to unemployment and underemployment as well as job mismatching.
किस चीज़ का काम करते हैं?
कारपेंटर.
कारपेंटर. पढ़ाई क्या की आपने?
ग्रेजुएशन किया है.
ग्रेजुएट है. पढ़ाई क्या की आपने?
अभी इंटर किया है और करौती से फॉर्म भरे हैं.
अच्छा.
Employees' energy is being wasted because of the lack of team spirit, commitment, duplication, of the work, poor working and living conditions, poor infrastructure facilities, making people to waste their time and energy in travels or traffic jams, etc. Bureaucrats are investing additional energy due to outdated technology and executing responsibilities with fear of CVC or CAG, and spend most of the time in dealing to avoid or tackle CVC, CAG, instead of putting the energy to nation building for which they are being paid. Politicians. They are spending their energy in vote bank politics to please public with attractive schemes, provoking the caste, regional and communal feelings, instead of nation building, future vision, development and progressive activities. Auditing and investigation agencies, such as CAG, are more into post-mortem of corruption issues rather than suggesting corrective measures or interfering or guiding, such as lack of motivation, lack of determination, prodigious mindset of bureaucracy, delay in project planning and implementation, pending clearances and unsettled disputes. Planning Commission energy is being wasted as they are not able to ensure on-time project planning and commission.
Big projects are stalled.
They should also regulate under-quote bidding besides over-quote by evolving appropriate system. In India, next to agriculture, it is construction industry which is providing livelihood to the large portion of the people. Huge workforce such as unskilled, skilled, non-technical, technical is being idle and their energy is being wasted because of the delay in planning and implementation of the projects.
I've asked them to explain few physical energy saving ideas, which they feel appropriate and useful for India. They have explained me like this.
The idea is related to my profession. We have been building our roads and highways since long, more rapidly in the recent past. In order to make it happen, we need huge natural resources such as aggregates and bitumen. Fortunately, India has huge deposits of rocks, which is needed to further produce aggregates, except in few states such as West Bengal and Haryana. But because of the recent huge consumptions and environmental issues, the availability of aggregates has already become a very big concern. And in case of bitumen, we have limited reserves. So these reserves are to be wisely used and preserved for the future generations. In order to overcome this issue, the technology of milling recycling of old pavements have been introduced. That is, old road will be milled out and remixed with the RAP by adding desired proportion of fresh foam bitumen and aggregates and repave the mix. This technology is being used in many countries across the globe since long.
For cold recycling with pre-spread cement and foamed bitumen, a Streumaster binding agent spreader pre-spreads small amounts of cement. Computer-controlled metering feeders ensure high spreading accuracy. Behind the spreader are water and a bitumen tanker truck. Recycler draws in the binding agents via hose connections. The recycler is equipped with push bars to push the two tanker trucks along. The powerful milling and mixing rotor